Bill Gillespie. I'm just gonna kill the elephant in the room, and I'm just gonna say, how the fuck did you bench 1129 at 62 years old? Because I'm trying to figure it out, and I'm like, is it the shirts? Is it the technique? What the hell is going on?
Man, it's about everything you can ever imagine combined together.
Wait, before you continue, I swear to God, this is the God's honest truth. I was so interested in how it's possible that a 62-year-old man benches 1129 and breaks the world record, that I actually spoke to Leroy Walker.
Really?
And I asked him, I was like, dude, what do you think? I swear to God, you could, if you know the guy, you could ask him. We were talking last night. I was like, I got to interview Bill Gillespie. And he goes, dude, honestly, I think this was his honest answer. He goes, Bill just zoned in and basically dedicated all his time on the bench. And his opinion was, you zoned in, you dedicated everything you had on this breaking this world record, and you did it. It wasn't like you had anything else, any other extraneous variables distracting you. You were 100% in on this. That was his opinion. So
there's some truth to that.
All right.
Yeah. John, what you got to remember is the fact that I wasn't born a great bench presser, coming out of college. I mean, I worked out for 10 years, and I went to the first drug-free nationals in 1983 in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and benched 341 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. And
is that raw or a shirt?
That was raw. That was so far that they hadn't even invented the shirts then.
Wow.
Yeah. At the age of 35, my bench was stuck in the old blast shirt at about 440, 450. And I just thought I was genetically a weak upper body guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was very fortunate to be exposed to some of the great minds in the world of strength training. Former Soviet Union weightlifting coach, Dr. Gregory Goldstein, taught us how to design programs that were like, he said if he wrote up a routine, a 4-week routine, it would take him 40 hours to write up a routine. I said, there's no freaking way it's going to take him 40 hours. But after 3 days of doing this seminar, I said, there's no freaking way he can get it done in 40 hours. It was so complex. But I took that information and I started developing it. I started building on it. And all of a sudden, I started getting freaky results, not only from myself, but I was coaching at the University of Washington at the time. And my athletes started doing some freaky things. I mean, just the numbers were going crazy and the workouts were easier. And so I'm like, okay, we're on to something here.
Right.
And so as time's has gone by, I've just continued to develop my routine. And I at no point in time did I ever think that I would have the biggest bench of all time. No way. It wasn't until the last 2 years that I said, wait a minute, I got a chance. I got a chance at this,
So you're telling me you weren't even close to breaking the world record until after the age of 60.
Yeah, right.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but see, with the system of training, Louis Simmons from West Side.
Sure, he's a legend.
Yeah, Louis told me, he says, the nervous system's everything and how much you lift. And he says, you can poke an old man with a needle and he's going to jump just as fast as a young guy. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, so the key is, he said, was to stay injury free. I've never had an upper body injury. Ever.
Oh, okay. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
I am not in that category. I had a back surgery 2 years ago, so not in that category. Yeah, it's okay. No.
So, as I constantly kept experimenting and trying new ideas, sometimes they failed, and sometimes, like recently, I fell into some ideas that really, really worked, and I'm just extremely thankful that I was able to exhibit it. a year ago, last October, I did in a workout 11:07, and it flew up. And I knew I could do it. But for a year and a half, it just seemed like I was getting worse instead of better. And I was getting, I missed 20 attempts in competition.
Wow.
In a row.
That is a testament to your character, because that means you don't quit.
No.
That means you don't quit. When you that this is one thing. I have a pet peeve with social media lifters. I have a real pet peeve with the Brad Castleberries and so on and so on. We'll get to Daniel Zamani a little later on. But when you look up guys like yourself, and you look up Scott Mendelson or another Kennedy, so on and so forth, all the other great lifters, there's more fails on YouTube than there are actual lifts. And that's really what it comes down to. Like, from what I understand, you get the technique, you get the equipment, you bust your ass, and sooner or later it's gonna happen. Right. Yeah. And it is, to me, is more honorable that you guys put your fails up as well as your attempts. You broke the record from Tiny Meeker by 4 pounds, right?
Yep.
And and he put his attempt, I think it was 11:54. His attempt was, am I right?
This past it might have been 12:01. I don't know. Yeah.
And he dropped that weight, and I thought he cut himself in half. I actually messaged him and I said, "Are you okay?" I thought he cut himself in half, and thank God he's fine. But yes. I mean, so go ahead. What's your take on it?
Yeah, Tiny's a great friend of mine. I've known Tiny for almost 30 years, almost 30 years now. And to be honest with you, I know the record. I ain't gonna hold that record forever. And I was rooting for him. I wished him luck and said, "Hey, I hope the best." And I was really concerned when I had heard that there was a chance he might have gotten injured, because I know that he's battling with some injuries that he's trying to overcome to try to break this record again. And I was concerned that he had re-injured one of these injuries that he has. And so I was really hoping that he was going to be okay. I between him and Jimmy Cobb, one of them's going to break the record. Right. And I was rooting for him, because it ain't going to make no difference whether it's today, or yesterday, or next month, as far as I'm concerned. So I wish the best of luck to these guys. But yeah, people. My problem is with the social media people who are thinking that equipment is cheating. That they want to know how much I bench raw, because they think that if they bench X amount raw, that they're going to get the same thing out of the shirt that I am. And, those people that have experience in the equipment know that's just not true. All right. In fact, what I have found was that I personally have had to reduce my raw max to allow my shirt training to go well, because I found that two positives, the two positives made a negative. I couldn't handle it. It's like one time I was doing heavy dips when I was at the University of Washington. I did 6 dips all the way down, all the way up with 8 45-pound plates.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah. And so this was really what led me to believe that I had a chance to become a great bench presser.
You think?
But anyway, yeah. So what ended up happening was, the more I pushed on the dips, my raw bench went down. It didn't enhance my raw bench. And the same thing's true, that when you lift and push your raw bench, you can push it to the point where it doesn't transfer to the shirt. So you have to mimic the same technique in how you touch, how you bring the bar down, your timing, your grip, all has to be identical to transfer to the shirt. Otherwise, who cares? It's an ego lift. And people come, I've had people come and work out with me. Dave Tate came and worked out with me at the University of Washington one time. And he said, man, dude, you're not that strong. I says, I don't have to be that strong. As long as I lift more than you, everybody will think I am.
It's true. It's true.
It is true. You know, I don't have to be, you know, I've had people tell me you're the strongest man in the world. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm nowhere near it. All right. I don't even belong in that conversation. All right. But what I've done is I've lifted more than everybody else has. And that's what I love about the sport. I know that some people think that it should be just about who's the strongest, but it's a sport. And as a strength and conditioning coach, both at the major college level and the NFL, I like to find every aspect that's going to allow me to perform better, as long as it's legal. And so that's what I've done. And so when people go and bash me on the internet about, well, how much you get out of the shirt, how much you get raw, blah, 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 I just want to go, you're making this assumption, or how do you do that at 62 and be drug free? I'm like, you're making the assumption I'm doing the same workout you're doing.
Right.
I'm not doing the same workout you're doing, and I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing.
Right.
All right. Why would I tell you? You know, there's nothing for me to gain by telling you what I'm doing. And I got my group of guys that I tell what to do, and they're all putting up huge numbers. And, you know, between 17, 18-year-olds to 79-year-olds, we're all putting up huge numbers. And it's like, I had a couple of guys do 900 recently. And I told them, I said, I said, only about 11 guys have ever benched 1,000, and they did 900 so easily. They looked at me and they went, really? But they're living in this warped world where all of a sudden they thought a lot more people did 1,000, but it's just not true.
No, it definitely is not true. So basically, to recap, what you're saying is the technique is becoming more advanced. The strategies are becoming more advanced. The workout is becoming more advanced, and it doesn't raw power is great, but it's not 100% needed.
No, it's not. It's the way you develop your raw strength. Just because you can bring the bar down, sink it down in your chest, heave it up, does not mean at all that that's going to transfer to your shirt bench. I mean, it's just there's no correlation at all.
Okay.
And that's what a lot of guys do when they put up these raw benches. So sometimes if I get to be a smart aleck, I'll tell them how much you get out of your raw bench. And they look at me like dumbfounded, and I'm like, no, seriously, you don't bench raw like I bench raw. So I know that you're getting more out of it than I am because you're cheating in my standards on your raw bench. So don't sit there and compare. The bottom line is our sport is so freaking small. Yeah. We're not like the NFL, okay?
Yeah.
We're so small. Why in the world are we going to have all these haters? I mean, good night. You're going to hear, I'm not going to be critical about anybody out there as long as they do it under the official guidelines of a competition. That's all I care about.
Right. Bill, let me tell you that it is not just powerlifting. It is trolling has become almost a sport in itself because it is everything. Now, I kind of dodged the bullet a little bit because I'm an interviewer and I bring people on, but there is a small percentage of my show where I have people on and we have conversations about things and our opinions come out. And I had a video, I call it Guy Talk. It's me and my friends, and we all hang out. We pick a topic, and we drink, we hang out, we shoot the shit, and it becomes funny. But a lot of times we hit on like topics. And there are times where, and I'm talking about, Bill, and I'm not kidding you, I'm talking about, I have those videos. Those are my weakest videos because I don't have anybody famous on, right? So it's just me and my friends. So I'm talking about less than 100 views. and I'll get text messages, and I'll get not a lot, but I'll get a handful of text messages, things on Facebook, things on Instagram, so on and so forth. I had one girl that I knew from high school that ripped me apart, just completely ripped me apart on my opinion of divorced women with kids, you know. And I'm like, it's just my opinion. It doesn't, and I've known this girl for 25 years.
Wow.
So but dude, it's no matter what, there's always going to be something. And the fact, just embrace it, man. Because if you, the more haters, the more trolls you get, the better you're doing. It's really true. But there's a difference between being a hater and being a troll, and then calling bullshit when you see bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a big difference. Now, I want your opinion on this, and then we'll get back to you. Daniel Zamani. He is this, if anybody's living under a rock, he is this social media lifter. He used to lift in contests and tournaments, but he doesn't anymore. And he does these lifts in the gym. And he says he's breaking all kinds of records, but they're in the gym, they're not at a meet, and he posts it all over social media, and it blows up. And they're all raw lifts. He certainly looks like he could do it. I mean, he's a monster of a man.
Huge.
So the world record for raw in a meet is 783, right? By Julius Maddox.
Yep.
Right. I had Julius on.
Oh,
I had Julius on. Really, really good dude. Really good dude. And then apparently during the week this week, this Daniel Zamani from Iraq, right? Oh, Iran. I'm sorry. Benched 803 or 804, something like that.
804.7.
804. And the first thing that caught my eye was the guy that was spotting him behind me was smaller than me. Yeah. And I'm like, how? The guy that gave him the lift off did not break 200 pounds. And I'm like, and I'm sorry, man, but I have to call bullshit on that one. But, and it's only because it's like, if you could do it, then go to a meet and do it. Right.
Right.
And make it count. What is your take on it?
Well, I've seen guys benching like close to 600 pounds with their girlfriends lifting off to them,
Oh, okay. So maybe I'm wrong.
And I'm thinking, what are you going to do if you miss that? It's not the getting the lift. I mean, because like I was voted the worst guy in America to get a lift off for, because they said that I won't help. And I'm like, why should I? So, but, as far as understanding that it's just a social media lift, it's a gym lift. That's all it is. And you got to take it for what it's worth. If you go and you start celebrating it and you start honoring it, and putting it ahead of what Julius has done, that's not right. Okay. I agree. But if, and if he wants to go and do it in a meet, man, I'd love to see it. I'd love to be there and cheer him on, or what I'd give for the two of them to lift in the same meet.
Absolutely.
Ooh, man, that would be top dollar right there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so there, and I know, I mean, yes, he looks like he's capable of lifting those kind of weights. Right. Does it look like he's got fake plates on there? No, but I don't know. It could. Yeah, you can't tell. So, right. It is what it is. You just accept it. There's plenty of people out there that I think are using fake plates, putting up weights that I'm just going, that's just not normal, Yeah. But it's social media lifts. That's all they are.
The problem is, it's the young guys. So what I mean by that is it's the young generation. You have the bench press, the equipped bench press world record at 1129. And if I ask one of the young guys in the gym, do you know who Bill Gillespie is? They're going to be like, no, who's that? I have no idea. If I say who Brad Castleberry is, everybody knows who he is. And it's like, you realize you're following the wrong people. You're
Yeah.
following the wrong guy. You're idolizing the wrong dude.
Yeah.
You know?
I was at a fitness conference one time and with my son, and I saw some big time lifter, okay, a legitimate big time lifter, and there was no line to get an autograph from him. Then I saw this line,
That happened to
big
me.
old long line, and I'm like, holy smokes! I asked my son, "Who's that guy?" And he goes, "Oh, he's a social media lifter." I said, "What's he done?" He goes, "Nothing." And
Yeah,
I said,
exactly.
"Why are all these people in line?" You know? And that's when I started to I said, "Well, and I got to start doing some social media stuff just to go and promote myself as a product, you know?" But,
Absolutely.
I don't want to go and get caught up into, I, I have been told that I'm a man of substance, okay? A man of character. And that's important to me.
Mhm.
And I think that sometimes when you go and you're nothing but a social media star for lifting big numbers, I don't believe there's as much substance to it.
There's zero substance.
Yeah,
There's
that's a.
zero
I was trying to be
substance.
nice.
It's zero substance. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but as my YouTube channel has plugged me into social media tremendously, tremendously, and the fake weight thing and the social media lifting, it gets on my nerves because guys like you, guys like Tiny Meeker, you go down the list with the women too. Nobody even knows who the women is. Leah Reitman, Katrina. People know Rita West because she's like an icon, but they don't know who these people are, and I'm just like, you have to be kidding. You gotta be kidding me, right? And it's and my wife falls for it. She doesn't fall for it, but you know what it is. It's like, they sell something and she buys it. Oh, for women, it's the perfect marketing, right? Like, she follows some fitness girl. I have no idea who she is. No, she knows that I interview like world champion powerlifters and women bodybuilders. Like, I've interviewed Rita West, I've interviewed Teresa Ivancic, I've interviewed Katrina, I've interviewed Leah Reitman. You go down the list, and then she's following some social media girl, and I'm going to do her diet. She sells a diet. You buy it for $12 a month, and I'm going to do her diet. And it's like, all right, do what you want. I don't give a shit. It just blows me away. But
yeah,
yeah, that happened to me once. I went to the Olympia 5 years ago. It was my 40th birthday. My wife surprised me. She got me a trip to Las Vegas for the Mr. Olympia contest, and got rest in peace. Rich Piana had a huge line, an hour
yeah,
long, to meet Rich Piana. Good social media, good marketer, never really accomplished much in bodybuilding. He did some national level shows. That was it. An hour to meet him. Jay Cutler, 4-time Mr. Olympia, 20 minutes. And I was like,
yeah,
wow,
yeah,
wow. Yeah, it just blew me away. But
yeah.
it's the world we live in. It's unfortunate. But okay, so I'm sorry.
I think the guys that are doing it legitimate are having to spend so much extra time training, that they don't have the time to do the social media to the extent that maybe the social media stars are.
Yeah.
So it's like they're stealing from you.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I agree 100%. So now is it next week? It's not this weekend, it's the following weekend. Yeah. The Arnold Classic, who everybody knows about bodybuilding, but they have powerlifting, arm wrestling. They have pretty much all kinds of things going on.
yeah.
Who do you know of that it's entering the Arnold in powerlifting? And do you think your record will be broken?
If Jimmy Cobb enters, my record will be broken.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's that simple. I would be shocked if he didn't. In fact, Jimmy and I got together last fall, worked out together. I took him and his wife out for lunch. And I I said, Jimmy, I'm going to tell you straight out what I'm going to do. He had the record at 11:20 at the time. I said, I'm going to break your record. Then I need you to do me a favor. He goes, what's that? He kind of looked at me kind of dumbfounded, when I told him I was going to break his record. But
yeah,
I said, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to annihilate that record if I break it. I said, because then I can go tell everybody, yeah, that's what it took to break my record,
right,
right. And Jimmy can do it. Jimmy can put up something that's just so far beyond of what we can even comprehend. That young man is so incredibly strong.
Mm-hmm.
And he is the future.
How old is he?
30.
Oh, he's a young man. Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
And his last name is spelled C-O-B or C-O-B-B?
No, it's K-O-L-B.
Oh, I thought it was like Ty Cobb. Okay. K-O-L-B. Okay. I'll look him up. I'll see if he can come on.
Oh, get him on. He's very intelligent. Knows how to great training ideas, and is just crazy courageous under the bar. He does things that you just can't imagine.
Right.
In a workout. I mean, like 1,400-pound bench presses.
Jesus Christ Almighty! I mean, 20 years seems like a long time, but it's really not a long time. 20 years ago, these numbers were thought of to be untouchable, unheard of. 20 years ago, how many guys benched over 1,000 in a shirt 20 years ago? Maybe there was Ryan Kennedy. There was what's his name? Scott Mendelson.
Yeah.
There's only like 3 or 4.
Steve Rycliffe and Tiny
right. There was only 4. Right? Am I accurate?
Yeah, that's about right.
And now it's double that. It's more than double that.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that everybody's saying it's the shirts, but Jimmy did his in a single ply shirt, the same single ply shirt we've been using practically for 20 years.
So when you did the 1129, you did it in a single ply shirt?
No, not me.
Oh, okay.
No. I used one of the new shirts. Mine was 4 plies, man.
Okay. Do you feel a difference when you're in that 4 ply shirt? Sir?
Are you there?
Oh yeah, I got you. You there?
Yeah.
It just froze up on me a little bit. You feel a big difference in that 4 ply shirt?
It's okay. What I tried, in fact, not even myself. One of the guys I coached used to write for Muscle and Fitness. Mm-hmm. And he said he was a raw bench presser. He's 79 years old, lifting in I think the 198 class, and he benched 396 raw. And he thought going to a single ply shirt would be just a little bit harder, but he could do a little more weight. And then he said wanted to try the double ply. Mm-hmm. And what he said was this. He said, every time you add a ply, you double how complex the lift is. So
really?
Yeah. So like a single ply, which is what people use, the ram, the slingshot, it's about twice as complex as a raw bench press. A 2 ply is 4 times. 3 ply gets to be 8 times, and you get to the 4 ply, you're talking 16 times more complex. The bubble on that thing, meaning how perfect it has to be laterally, it has to be dead on, or it just doesn't happen. And I just happened to hit it dead on my last attempt in my last competition, because I have a severe problem with restless leg. It's really bad. I'm seeing my 5th doctor coming up here down at Duke, trying to figure out how we can get this thing taken care of, because it's just like going to convulsions at night.
Oh,
and it's every night, and sometimes I battle it for like 8 hours a night until I finally fall asleep. It's miserable. It owns me. And so and my wife, she works in the medical field, and she sat me down and she said, you're burning the candle at both ends, and you literally look at pictures of you from 2 years ago and you're dying. Okay. You're dying. You're killing yourself. And I said, I know, but I wanted that record. I've been so close. I've never been this close, and I put in 50 years. And she goes, it's got to come to an end. And I says, okay, this is what I'm going to do. January 22nd will be my last meet. And she goes, I don't believe you. And I sat down and explained to her why it was going to be my last meet. And she goes, well, we'll see. So I didn't make a big announcement about it because I didn't want it to be a distraction. But I got to the meet and I told the meet director and a few of the other people that this is going to be my last meet. And people are coming up to my training partner and asking him, Bill seems to be really relaxed. You sure he's focused to get this? And they're like, yeah, I don't know, man. He's sure is relaxed. And I was pretty, I missed the first time pretty bad. My right hamstring cramped up. And as soon as the right leg gives you problems, the bar goes to the left, and you're not pulling back 1,100 pounds. Okay. You're not, it's not going to happen.
Right.
So I told the spotters to grab it. And then my second attempt, I didn't either get enough leg drive or whatever, but I didn't keep my chest up, and it just felt really heavy. And I'm like, no, grab it. And then coming in my last attempt, I said, here we go. I've done this 20 times in a row where I've missed it. This is my last attempt. And I prayed. I honestly did. I said, God, I said, thank you. I says, whether I make this lift or don't make this lift, I'm content, because it's not about the goal. Okay. The goal would have been wonderful, but it was the most precious part of it was the 50 years journey that I got to go through. How many people get to do what they love to do at the highest level for 50 years? It don't happen.
No, it
How
doesn't.
can I complain? How can I complain? I have no place to complain. I could only be thankful. And that's how I was. I didn't feel no pressure at all going into that last attempt. But I did say this. I said, God, if you got any tips, now's the time.
That's great.
And almost instantly, I heard, move your hands out 1/8 of an inch. I said, well, that's a good idea. Now, this is how precise these shirts are. 1/8 of an inch. So, okay. And then try to bring the bar down slightly faster, which is hard enough to bring down under control, but to try to do it and change the tempo, it's going to make it difficult. I said, okay, I'll try it. Took the weight out, thought it was a good position, felt good, brought the weight down. And when the judge said pressed, it went up so fast, so easy, that it startled me. And I couldn't, I almost missed it because it just startled me so much. It was effortless. And to Joey's, the head judge, to his credit, he honored the record by making me hold it at the top longer than maybe most other lifters. And I appreciate him doing that because it deserves, that record deserves to be legitimate. All right.
Right.
And he held me there, told me to rack it, and I didn't even look to see if it was good or not. I knew that thing was good. Yeah. And I honestly, I started crying. I mean, 50 years. 50 years of, we go on vacation and I say, no, I can't go do that because I got to go work out. 50 years of laying in bed at night, twitching because it hurt. I hurt so bad. Never, ever, ever missing a workout, ever. Going hard when I'm sick, when I don't feel like working out, day in, day out, all the time. For 50 years, I drove and drove and drove trying to find a way to be able to recover, to find a new way, to get the passion to be able to do this attempt. That's why when people go and criticize me, and take away from it, I'm like, when I called my wife, she's never done this before, but she started crying. She knew, she's like, I know how much you've put into this. And then I called my son and I said, well, I'm going to try to be a jerk with my son and play it off. And I told him, I said, oh man, I said, that first one, I my leg cramped up. And then the second one, I told him to grab it. I'm like, and he's like, oh, Dad, I'm sorry. And I said, yeah, but on the third one, I got it. And he was like, no. And he started crying because he knows how much I put into it. And then I called my daughter who just had a baby in Dallas, her and her husband, and she started crying because they all knew my life. This has been my life. Mm-hmm. It's not my identity. My identity is in Christ, but my life has been God has told me, do whatever you do it with all your heart and soul, not halfway. Present my body a living sacrifice. So I did for 50 years because that's what he told me to do. I've dreamed since I was a little boy. I want to be the greatest in the world at something. God said, okay, the bench press. I'm like, no, come on. It's not very athletic. I want to be, a great football player. I want to be a great track and field athlete. Something else. No, bench press. I'm like, fine. That's what I'll do. And I poured my heart and soul into it. And what you see with the record was 50 years of a kid who didn't belong on that platform, didn't have the strength to be able to do that, and just kept trying and trying and trying. I can't promise you, if you're a young guy out there, that if you go and put 50 years in, that you're going to get the same result. But that's not the focus. The focus isn't on the goal. It is not on the result. It's on the process. It's the process that changes you as a man. I am a different human being because of the 50 years that I invested in there. And my goal now is to take that 50-year process, figure out what I learned, and then be able to communicate that to individuals that don't want to spend 50 years bench pressing to learn the lessons of life that I've learned.
Mm-hmm. Well, Billy, that is the most motivational thing that's ever been said on my show. And if that doesn't go viral, nothing will. Bill, I truly, truly sincerely appreciate you coming on and sharing all that with me, man. It really means a great deal to me, and it what you just said actually inspired me in a way, because this YouTube thing is not easy. And there's been plenty of times where I'm like, I'm going to give up. It's not happening. It's just not happening. I've been stuck at over 2,000 subscribers. It's not going up. It's not going up. It's not going up. But you just told me to keep on pushing.
I'm telling you, you know how many people told me to quit? I mean, over and over and over again, the people closest to me telling me, you're never going to do it. Why are you going to keep trying? You're wasting your time. You're wasting your life. You're killing yourself. Stop. But I knew this is what I was called to do. Nope, that nothing was going to stop me. Now, I did, at one point in time, I was going to quit. And my little grandmother came up to me and she said, don't you dare ever quit.
Really?
This is who you are. Yeah. Yeah. She's tough little old lady, and she's like, that's where I got it from. My mom and my grandma, they were just, my grandma shows up from Seattle and we take her to Washington, D.C. in August. She's 80 some years old. Mm-hmm. Never slows down, never holds us up. Just just trucking along, and my wife turns to me and she goes, "Do you realize your grandmother hasn't slowed us down at all?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I didn't think about it. It's my grandma." And she's like, "Your grandma's tough little old lady." I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
Is your grandmother still with us?
No, she passed away. But
Okay.
you know what? She invested so much into my life that part of, the large part of me being able to set that record, I would have never been able to do it without, the influence of, and one thing else I want to tell you, I never call it my record. I don't like calling it my record. I call it the record because you know what? The truth is that I didn't set it by myself. I had all these people that were there for me, supporting me, spotting me, training me, encouraging me. They're just as much a part of it because I know how weak I am. I know how frail. And that's the cool thing about being this strong is you really learn your mortality. Okay. You learn how weak you really are and how easily you could just be a normal guy. And so you learn for goodness sakes, you're not arrogant about it. It's just wrong. But instead, you should be thankful for it and be gracious towards the people that helped you get there. And so right now, I'm getting all these pictures of the lifts and sending pictures, signed pictures to all these people that have played such a role in my life because I want them. I want to show some gratitude to them for what they've done in my life and helping me achieve this record.
Well, Bill, it sounds like to me that you're an exceptional human being, physically and spiritually. And I wish there were more people like you in the world. If there were, we'd be in a better place. That's for sure.
Well, thank you, John.
Welcome,
I've really enjoyed talking with you, and it's been really fun.
You know what we'll do? I got to do because I've done this with the ladies. I've done this with the ladies bodybuilding and the arm wrestlers. I'm going to get a few of the top powerlifters. You, Tiny, maybe we'll get somebody else. I had Scott Mendelson. Maybe I'll see if I can get Scott Mendelson, and we'll do a group YouTube video, just on powerlifting. And I'll give you guys the floor, and you talk about powerlifting forever.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
All right, sounds good. I'll definitely give it, let you know. And Bill, thank you very much for being on. It's been a pleasure. It really has.
Thank you so much, John.
All right, we'll be in touch.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
You got it.